there is no way to define chair in a way that does not include things that aren't chairs. That's what neopronouns kind of are, is it's kind of like a nickname, in that it serves that purpose for a friend group or something like that. Now I think that's a controversial take. I'm pretty sure that most people would like take issue with that or whatever, but those people are fucking stupid and I don't really care about them. I think it is a little much for people to say, you have to call me Mar or something like that, because I just won't do any of that shit. So, we're here to talk about the transes. And as far as I understood, that I was saying some stuff in chat, or not in chat, but in Discord, that you weren't really able to understand. And so I was wondering what questions that you had, to see if I can answer them the best that I can.
So like I think it's something about like the gender spectrum or something. I was asking about like how far it reaches, I guess you could say, and you touched on that with like the otherkin shit or something like that. Honestly, I can't remember 100%, but I just didn't know what like lies in between the two limits, and I can't remember if there were limits or not to the whole spectrum thing. So like that was my main thing because I have like no idea about any of that.
Okay. Yeah, the limits are the two extremes. So you have
Mm.
male, not male, but I mean, yeah, male and female on the sex spectrum. That is actually a spectrum too. But with the gender spectrum, you have man on one side and woman on the other side, and those are the two extremes. There
Mm.
are people that like abstain from the spectrum altogether. That just say I'm a gender or whatever. They don't want to have any kind of societal expectations involved with it and whatever. And those people are cool and whatever. But that's usually what happens, is that there's man, woman, and then there's, basically an infinite number of points in between those two things. The vast majority of people, like 98% of the entire world, is going to fall on the binary. You're going to have
Mm.
man and woman. And so that's why they say bimodal distribution, because the representation you're going to find the most often is going to be man and woman, and most
Mm.
people are going to fall into those two categories. And then sometimes you have some stuff that happens in between.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I'd never really looked into that stuff a whole lot. It just never like came up in a extremely what do you call it, like big way, I guess you could say.
Right.
So I honestly had like no fucking clue.
Yeah. So like, because I think we touched on neopronouns for a second, and one thing that is like the purpose of language is to be able to put handles onto concepts in order to be able to grapple with them and like manipulate them and be able to talk about them. So like, I call something a chair. If I say a chair, you know what a chair is, right?
Mm.
But there is no way to define chair in a way that does not include things that aren't chairs. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
So like, if I were to say something with the big meme that goes around is if something has four legs, a back, and it's designed, or not designed, but the purpose of it is to sit on, then your definition of chair is also going to include horses. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Right. And so putting names on to concepts to be able to grapple with them is important to some people. It's not important for you to understand particularly their, like, whatever they identify with. That's not important. So like, you don't need to understand that this person is like, a masculine leaning demi girl or whatever, or like a, whatever gender that they fall into or whatever. That's whatever. You don't have to understand all of that, but to them, coming up with that name and then a set of pronouns to go along with it gives them an easier time with grappling with this kind of amorphous, sort of ambiguous, not really tangible concept.
Mm.
So like, I think I used the example of like Zerzim, whatever.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
made those up. I don't know if those are actually things,
Mm,
but I don't know where that would fall or whatever. But if you're saying that like I fall on this point in the on the gender spectrum, and I have decided to give this point on the gender spectrum this name and all this other shit, and the vast majority of people will usually have pronouns that are like in the tertiary, you know. So you'll have
mm,
he, she, and they, and those are usually what people encounter for like strangers and whatever. They might have a
yeah.
secondary set of pronouns, but this is strictly for their own benefit or for their little tight um, uh, uh, friends group or whatever.
Mm,
Because I think it is a little much for people to say you have to call me Ma Mar or something like that. Because I just won't do any of that shit.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. Honestly, like I never really saw the point of that kind of stuff in the past, but I mean, I guess since it's like, well, like you said, like a personal friend group or like family kind of thing, I can see why somebody would want to do that. I just
Yeah.
thought it was kind of pointless. Excuse me.
Well, that's the thing is that like people like us, like or I say people like us, like I don't give a shit about gender like at all. Like it doesn't.
Mm,
It's never been a thing that I've really been attached to. I've never had um, the what's it called? I've never really been attached to like being a man, you know, like that's never
mm,
been a thing that I've really been crazy about. I don't really get down with like the social prescriptions that come with being a man. That's not a thing for me.
mm,
And so I don't care. I don't understand why it matters to other people so much. But it does. It matters to them a lot, I guess.
mm,
But it's like, whenever you have it's kind of like when I say a nickname, that
mm,
that's what neopronouns kind of are. Is it's kind of like a nickname, and that it serves that purpose for a friend group or something like that.
mm.
And it's not, you know, you don't really have to be down with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a controversial take. I'm pretty sure that most people would like take issue with that or whatever, but those people are fucking stupid, and I don't really care about them.
Mm,
But for the most part, that's the reason why neopronouns exist,
mm.
is for their own internal understanding of gender.
Yeah. Like with me, like I don't like care what you do really. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
In all honesty, like I was just my mindset, I guess, was like I don't understand why you would need these things, but I guess I can kind of see now
Yeah.
why like somebody would do that. You know, not like pushing on other people or anything, but just I guess fuck. What did you say? Something about like gender journey or something? I don't know. Just like for
Oh
them, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah. When I said
So.
that the gender journey, is like whenever people, because I've seen it a couple of times where people will like make a tweet or something like that, and they'll say
Mm,
that if you could just, hey, how about you just call me they them for a while? I want to see how it feels,
mm,
or whatever. And it's like, okay, you know, and that's fine. And that would be, and then if you don't like it, like if somebody says I would like you to call me they them, and then they, you know, they try it out for like a couple of weeks, and they're like, okay, I actually don't like this and it doesn't really vibe with me at all, then they
mm,
drop it and it's cool. I think that it's totally
yeah,
fine for somebody to go on a quote gender journey, even if they're a cisgendered person, just to end up being cisgender, you know what I mean?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Camelid in chat. I'll call someone over whatever they want. When Cred Cross asked me how I identify, I said donkey. Nice. I yeah, the it's funny to me that the helicopter meme has become like an actual real thing, and that's really disappointing. But that's a whole separate thing. Um,
Mm,
so I understand the aversion to things that are confusing or whatever, because it is kind of confusing. And I don't think,
mm,
one of my problems with the left though is that like, because you don't understand, I don't think that is a reason for hostility. Um, so if you were to say, I don't get it, I don't understand neopronouns, this seems really dumb,
mm,
and then, you know, I think it's wholly counterproductive to jump down people's throats for that. Because, you know, this shit is confusing. And so people sit around and think about this shit for like hours and hours on end every single day. And they expect other people to be exactly on board. It's like they have a lack of theory of mind or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you don't understand?
Honestly, not really. That was kind of cleared up exactly what I was asking. So
Well,
that was really it.
based. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with these kind of people in the first place. I just didn't, like you said, I just didn't know why, or yeah, like why somebody would want that or anything.
Right. And
So,
it's
I mean, all my questions are cleared up. Excuse me.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you joining me. And
no
if
problem.
you have any other questions, always hit me up. I'm always available, pretty much.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
All right, bud.
All right.
We'll
see
see
you.
ya. Alrighty. That's pretty fucking cool, man. See, they are reachable. All you have to do is help them understand. Now, people like Ben Shapiro are fucking lost. Like those people, obviously, we're not trying to reach them. That was something that always that was something that constantly came up whenever I was talking about the animal genders thing, and I was just like, you're going to turn people off with this shit, and they're just like, they're gonna hate us anyway, and I'm like, I'm not talking about people that fucking hate you. I'm talking about people that are just confused, you know. And if you try to educate them, and you say, oh, by the way, cuttlefish is a gender now, so, and I feel like those people are, yes, deliberately ignorant, yes, because I'm sure, 1,000,000% sure, that Ben Shapiro has heard all of the counter arguments already, but he just refuses to acknowledge them because, you know, that's part of his whole thing. It's part of his brand. He couldn't reverse on that because that shit, the anti-trans shit, makes him a lot of money, so he can't, go along with the facts. Shapiro gender. That's right. I sexually identify as Ben Shapiro.